And we're back. JJ here, Retro ReWire in the hunt. We're in Kyoto. This is one of the busiest parts of the city. And this little shop, this was actually the second shop that I featured in the hunt series. Super happy to be back here. And back when I was there, or when I first visited rather, it was 2 stories. Unfortunately now things have dwindled a little bit and it's only just the ground floor, the first floor. But there is quite a bit of goodies here, and we're going to start off at the showcase. So naturally, a lot of the things that you're going to see, you might deem them overpriced or it's within your budget. I'll leave pricing up to you guys because pricing means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Here we have a Neo Geo CD, a couple of those. We got some Mega Drives up there. The Amiibos, which Amiibos are still widely abundant in Japan. We got this sleek looking Game Boy Color. Look at that. I do like that all black look. And you know, having purchased the all black DMG, you know, maybe it's time to go all in on the Kuro black. But what do we have here? What's this Game Boy light color thingy? Not really sure what that was, but most places are gonna have like a dedicated section for all things Pokemon. Here we have Nintendo DS games. And look at this. This is Dan something. Shiku? And look at the price on that thing. That was about almost the same price as the Pikachu Game Boy Advance SP. But these cases are loaded, you know, and when I'm here, I definitely like to take my time. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I want is usually behind the glass. Here we have The Legend of Zelda. This is going to be the GameCube collection. And then we have the Club Nintendo GameCube controllers. Now, the Luigi and Wario controllers do have discoloration and some damage. The clear black N64, I bought one of these at the Omiya Surugaya. And it was console only, got a really good deal on it. And I ended up selling it so I could use those funds towards the N64 Purple Grape. Love that color. And then just an assortment of Game Boy Advance titles. I remember purchasing a Game Boy Advance way back. I was living in Seattle at the time. And I was so excited. I remember getting, Wario Land 4 with it. But quite a bit of Game Boy Advance titles. This is the Pinball of the Dead. I have not played that, and I wonder if it's any good. And then Biohazard Gaiden. This is one that I definitely want to play. They did have a loose copy, which was far less expensive. We got some Rockman World action there. In fact, a couple of titles. I believe there was about 5 in total of the Rockman World titles released for the original Game Boy. And what else do we have here? More Game Boy Advance SP. And we got some shooters there, some Gradius action. And you know, like with the area that we're in, you know, that's going to affect pricing a little bit. There's many factors that go into it, but you know, but there's Biohazard Gaiden 8,800, and then we have Xenon. I'm so curious about a lot of these Game Boy titles. I mentioned before that I don't take it so serious, but I do. There's something about the Game Boy that I do enjoy. And then look at the price on this. 3,800 junk status. I love the original Xbox. Had a blast playing it back in the day. I still play it. Love playing Outrun, Halo, all those games on the original Xbox. And then we got some Famicom titles here. Super Famicom. What do we got? Sweet Home there. And what's that jockey game there? Next to the Batman. I'm not sure what that is. And then what is this? Something Fumaden. Now this was released, a remaster was released on, Steam and the Nintendo Switch. And I definitely want to play that remaster. Look at the cover on that Super Famicom game. What is that? Next to the Rockman and Bass. That was a cool cover. We got some Castlevania 3 tucked away back there for 32 thou. That one has definitely jumped up in price. We got some Magic Sword. And I love Magic Sword. And I have that Super Famicom edition as well as on the Nintendo Switch. We have Knights of the Round. That's a cool cover. Excellent cover. But you just gotta love the artwork here. Sometimes that, you know, on this specific occasion, I did make 2 purchases, which we will get to later in the video. But And then we have Dracula XX for 30,000. That's a title that I picked up last year. Super happy with that one. And then we have some Rockman X. What else do we have here? And then we have Macross. Look at that. 29. That one actually went down a little bit in price, but it had a little... I wasn't able to read it that quickly, but could be some missing manual or some damage there. Most likely some damage. We have Dino Crisis, the 5th anniversary. I wonder what that includes. I've seen that before, but I'm not really familiar with it. And then we have, there it is. I really want this game on the original Xbox. Double Steel, the Second Clash. And I love the first one. I think it was released as the Yakuza missions in North America, the original one. But it's such a blast on the original Xbox. And then we have Gunner's Heaven. I picked this one up on PlayStation Network, and I paid about, what was it, 600 yen? And then we have... Now, this one is a bit of a crazy price. X-Men versus Street Fighter for that price. I picked it up last year for like 2,000 yen at a hard off out in Saitama. And then we have R-Type 3. Love that game. And Battletoads. It's been so long since I played Battletoads. I think the last time I played that was like in the 90s. I rented it from National Video. And then look at this Driho. That must be one of the rare original Xbox titles next to Fatal Frame. But an interesting cover, that one. I wonder if it was released in North America. And then we have that monkey game. Drawing a blank on it, but those seem to be pretty fun. And then we have Spike Out, Fatal Frame 2. And then Doki Doki Panic for the disc system there for 10,000. What else do we have? But it's always so much fun looking through here, the showcase. It's hard not to, you know. Here's one that I want. Swordmaster. 20,000. Look at that. And you know if that's in the box, it's going to be twice as much. But that's one of those titles, you know, that high fantasy stuff. I love stuff like that. And it's by Athena, and I believe it's from the same people that released Biometal, the shooter on the Super Famicom. Here we have a few soundtracks, not a couple, quite a few actually. An assortment of stuff here. And I didn't really dig too deep into the soundtracks, but I'm gonna tell you what. In the time that I wasn't really just, you know, when I was just releasing stuff on Instagram, my collection of original game soundtracks has grown tremendously. Absolutely love it. And I was even lucky enough to find like some big Nintendo releases for 100 yen in the junk section. But look at this, Undercover Cops. This is a IRAM game. That's a pretty cool cover too. But man, you can spend quite a bit of time there. Now, like the actual layout, as I mentioned before, it used to be second stories. Now it's just on the ground floor, and it gets really, really tight in here. Now you know what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for those SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color collections. Unfortunately, they didn't have any, and I think something like that's going to be behind the glass. But here we have like this train game, which I haven't seen before. I'm not really into those train simulators, but I do appreciate them. But not a bad selection of Nintendo Switch titles. And I do love the Nintendo Switch. I think maybe that's like the third or second most games that I have for like a specific platform. I think PlayStation 3's first. But I do love the Nintendo Switch. And the Zero Fire M2 Shot Triggers release. I picked that one up a few months ago. Great title. And then we have Bloodstained. Look at this one. Look at the cover on this. 7,000. This is a used one, but it does include everything. Now, I do want to get this one, but I just want to get like the standalone release. It looks better on the shelf that way. But that did have the soundtracks included. That's always a bonus. And what else do we have here? We got some Pac-Man action. I don't know if these include... That could be just like a digital code and all you get is like the case, which is kind of an interesting way of doing it. And then we got some DS titles, 3DS. And I'm just kind of making my way here. And then Ninku. I believe that's also released on another platform. And then we got the loose hue cards. And I think if you were to come here and if you're pretty serious about your game collecting, well, first of all, it depends, because some people are after very specific things. Sometimes it's just complete hardware based or software. But if you're the kind of collector that I am, that I collect for multiple platforms, whether it's hardware or software, I can spend easily a few hours in here. And on this occasion, I think I spent like just shy of 2 hours. But that's not a bad price on Castlevania Adventure 2. And I do like the cover there for Dragon Slayer. 2,400 yen. And then we got Rockman World 2. That's a fun one. But if you look through here, they're going to have quite a bit of interesting titles. And again, they might meet the budget, maybe not. But the way I feel about it is sometimes, usually when I game hunt and I'm in a new area, I go to like the trendiest areas first, because if I can find what I want, it'll just avoid a trip to the countryside. But who am I kidding? I'm probably going to go to the countryside anyways, or to, it's not even countryside, it's like the more smaller cities. I'm from Eastern Oregon. That's the kind of countryside that I'm really used to. But what do we have? PlayStation Vita TV, and then a couple of PS Vita special editions there. And then I do want that PC Engine collection with all the shooters there. And then 18,000 there for the Metal Gear Solid 3 Premium package. Always nice to see that. And then they look at that, the PS5 Pro. I want it, but I don't need it. And then we have, what is this, Donna. I did find just a loose case of that, and they were selling it for 5,000 yen. There's Dynamite Heady. And if you've been keeping track with my recent releases, I saw it in, what was it, Taisho, the Hard Off in Taisho, which was probably less than half that price. But a bunch of heavy hitters, and that's what you expect to see in the showcase. Look at that cover to Two Crude Dudes. Golden Axe 3, that's another one that I picked up last year, and I picked it up for just I don't know if it was like 10,000 or something like that. Great game, and I definitely beat it. And I have but I do like the Golden Axe series. And then we have Hyper Duel, which that one kind of went down a little bit in price. Then we got the Nights into Dream, what is that, the Sega multi-controller pack. Sonic and Tails 2. And what is that? Battle Garega in the back. And we got some Virtual Boy, and then KO the Flying Squadron, Dungeons and Dragons, Cannon Spike. That's one that I want for the Dreamcast front and center there. But man, the Sega Saturn, great platform. And then 3 Dirty Dwarves. I remember getting the demo to that. And then we have Pharaoh 1999, and that's known as Exhumed or Power Slave, which I did pick up just yesterday at the Mandarake in Denden Town. I got a pretty good deal on it. 8,000 before sales tax. And Dungeons and Dragons in the back. And then Piruru. What is it? Pilurulu, something like that. I forget the name of that one. And then we have Dracula X there. And then look at that. What's that? Strider for the PC Engine. I haven't heard great things about that actual release, though. Gate of Thunder. Love the cover to that one. And then Ghost Pilots. Cross Swords 2. That's one that I would love to at least try out. Played the first one on the Switch, and I beat it. Love it. And the Neo Geo offerings, man, before they had this stuff in the second floor, and they had a lot more, but now it's just dwindled to this bottom shelf in the showcase. But that's to be expected, I guess, in today's day and age. And then we have Sam Show 4 or Samurai Spirits 4 for 45,600 yen. Now, this is a tax-free shop, so keep that in mind. And the prices that you see there that includes the 10%. So if you're visiting, you have your passport handy, you'll get a little bit of a discount. And then we have Waku Waku 7. Now this one is climbing in price. Now for the AES, it's crazy expensive. It's more expensive than Garo. And for the Sega Saturn, it's climbing up in price. And I sold my copy because I just want to get like the slimmer, you know, the one that doesn't include the RAM cart. It just looks better on the shelf, and that's my preference. Marvel Superheroes, just get the collection on the Nintendo Switch. And this is another one that I want to add. Burning Rangers. I've never played that, and you know, I had a Saturn, like I bought it way back in '96. I chose the Sega Saturn over the PS1, and I do not regret it. And what else do we have in here? But yeah, Burning Rangers, I definitely want to play that. KOF 95. Christmas Nights. I remember getting this in the mail from Sega. I was the dude that was always mailing those postcards every month. You know, when I would get a new game, I would mail it, and they would always send me stuff. We got X-Men versus Street Fighter. That's not a bad price there. That's not a bad price. Has some discoloration, it seems, but it's all good. But again, you know, it is on the Marvel vs. Capcom collection for the Switch, PS4, PS5, Steam, and maybe one day Xbox One. And then Azel, that one's kind of climbing in price a little bit too. And Mr. Driller. This was also released on the PlayStation 1. And what do we have? Oh, Toy Commander. Look at this. This is hardcore nostalgia for me. Now, I played this one to death, both the campaign and the multiplayer. And I do have a copy of this, but I have the North American version. And I won't be double dipping with that one because you know, the North American version is more than good enough for me. But absolutely love Toy Commander. Then we have the Street Fighter 03. Great cover. This is the collection of parts 3 and Second Impact, and then Third Strike. Man, the Dreamcast, what a legendary system. I remember getting that one. I didn't get it at launch, but I got it in Christmas of 1999 with Sega Rally 2. Man, that was a great Christmas. What do we have here? Sonic and Tails for the old Game Gear Part 2. Now, I do want this, Sonic the Hedgehog. Look at that price. What do y'all think? This is actually a pretty fun game on the Game Gear. And I do have the loose cart, but, you know, I do want to get that complete in the box. And then here we go with the Mega Drive titles. Now, when I was in this aisle was super tight. Super, super tight. And look at Tatsujin. Look at the cover here. Man, the PC Engine cover just blows it out of the water. That PC Engine cover is like just absolutely amazing. One of the greatest covers, as a matter of fact. And then we have Bare Knuckle 2. That's a solid game. Phelios. I do love looking through these Mega Drive, these Sega Mega Drive titles. Spider-Man. I'm kind of curious about this one. I do like how it has. I wonder if I don't know if McFarlane drew that, but it definitely is in that style. And that's probably the greatest cover, that Sonic Spinball, for the Sega Mega Drive. Absolutely stunning artwork on that. And then we have Altered Beast. Fun game. The Super Shinobi. And that one has like different revisions to it. Because, you know, the Batman, the Spider-Man, Godzilla, Sonny Chiba. And there it is again. Beautiful cover, man. And Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Now, Super Street Fighter 2 for the Mega Drive, that's another one that's climbing in price, and I kind of regret not picking up the one at the Surugaya and Kobe. It was missing the manual, but you could always get the manual later. Look at the price on this. This is the North American version of the Capcom Classics Collection. And look at the price on SBC Chaos. Now, I do have this. I have the North American version, but the Japanese version has a unique cover there, as you can see, and it's a hefty price tag on that one. Now, I picked this one up. Guilty Gear XX Reload, the Midnight Carnival. Now, I have the PlayStation 2 version, but if I can get the original Xbox version, you know I'm going to do it. And that price, you know, that's not bad at all. Like I said, I do love the original Xbox. I have the demo disc for that Ninja Gaiden and Outrun 2. Very expensive, but in North America, you know, it's not as expensive. And then here we have Metal Wolf Chaos. I'm telling you, this game's super common, but it's a pricey one. What do we have here? Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I haven't played that. And Capcom versus SNK 2 EO edition. I have that on the GameCube, and then we have Whacked. Not really sure what this is about. And look at the cover to Capcom Fighting Jam. I almost wanted to buy it just for the cover. Now this game seems like very like cut and paste, but that cover, man. And it's a Capcom fighting game, you know. I'm a hardcore Capcom and SNK fighting maniac. Love that stuff. Crazy Taxi 3. I haven't played that one. I definitely want to play it. Panzer Dragoon Orta. Now this does include the soundtrack. Blinks 2. But see, like if you're after like Xbox, the original Xbox 360, whatever, you got to make your way out to Surugaya because, you know, you could go to the countryside all you want, but it's very slim pickings for anything Xbox. And what else do they got? The original Halo 1300. I still play that. Love the soundtrack to that game. Love it. And then we have some Wonder Swan titles here. Not very many. And some Mega CD. I was going to say Mega Sega CD, but Mega CD. And then I'm not sure what this is. What is that? The Sega Games can? I think it might be a bunch of mini games. Final Fight CD. And let's look through all the Neo Geo CD titles. Now, a lot of these I already own. I don't own this Real Bout, but that wasn't actually Real Bout. It was just the manual. The backside actually had KOF 94. Otherwise, I would have bought it. Art of Fighting 3 or Art of Fighting Gaiden. I definitely want that on the AES, but a super expensive title. Super, super expensive. And look at the price of The Last Blade 2. That one really is going up for the Neo Geo CD. They had a few PCFX and PC Engine titles. Now, from here, I was kind of getting pushed out, you know. And I had like this big old camera just kind of filming it. Everybody around me is just kind of like filling up their baskets, going crazy. But despite that, you know, it's all good. Oh, look at that. The employees tripping over the games. And we got some PSP titles. There's still a few PSP games that I want. Like I said, I want that PC Engine collection with the soldier shooters. This is a great port as well. Street Fighter 03, what is it? Double Upper. A great title. And I do want that what was it? The Game Boy Advance release of Alpha 3. But that is an expensive title as well. And PlayStation 2. Now, from here, I didn't really, you know, I kind of just skipped over the PS2 because it was getting like a little bit like sardines down that aisle. And that's the thing. If you have a big old bag, be careful of that, man, because it gets super tight in here. And I'm always drawn to like the Capcom spines. Like I have most of these Capcom PS1 releases, but they're just so, you know, I'm just kind of curious to see how the prices have been changing. Like that Star Gladiator, that's going to be a part of the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2, but it's going to be the sequel. The Revenge of, what's the villain's name? Billstein or something like that. And that was released on the Naomi hardware, and it's also on the Dreamcast. And then Super Famicom and N64. What do we? This copy of Star Fox 64 was very clean. And like I said, I wanna pick up a cleaner copy. And thinking back, this particular copy could have been a prime candidate. I don't think I'm really gonna find this one any, you know, for less money. I do have one, and I can just, you know, sell that one, and the little that I get for it, put it towards this newer one. Then we have the big box of Majora's Mask for, what was that price? 15,400 yen. And quite a bit of disc system games. Look at the price on this. Zelda 2, 4,400 yen. What do y'all think of that? Man, I should have picked that one up. I'm kind of fine. I'm kind of okay with that price, you know. And the disc system, you know, I don't necessarily want too many games for it, but there are a few that I do want, and Zelda 2 is definitely one. 1,300 yen for Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, this one did have issues. It was missing the manual, and then the other side of the box was like totally crushed. But for that price, that's not actually, you know. We got some Rockman 7 here for 8,900 yen. And again, remember, those prices that I'm quoting do include a 10% sales tax. So remember to have your passport or the app or whatever, and you can get that. You can save on that tax. Then we have Rockman X2, 9,800. They had a couple of copies there. And then Super Adventure Island. Love this game. This game has a great soundtrack, by the way. But I do want to play the PC Engine iterations. And then we have Super R-Type, which that one got like a fan release, and they did away with a lot of the slowdown. 5,000 yen there for Chrono Trigger. That's such a great game. I recommend both. I don't know what I recommend. The DS is cool, but the Super Famicom has like all the original opening cinematics. We got some Donkey Kong. What was that? Part 2 or 3 with Dixie. Now, Donkey Kong 2001. I did pick up that game at the Furuichi out in Kyoto, which actually, after going to Furuichi, I made my way directly to here to Surugaya. And I'm super happy with that Donkey Kong 2001 pickup. But a nice little selection of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance titles, especially in the case. Y'all saw that. We got Vertical Force. This one I'm really curious to try out. It being a Hudson game. Hudson Soft. Hudson Soft is legendary, especially with their output from like the late 80s and the 90s. What is that? The Sonic Mega Collection there? The GameCube. I remember selling my Dreamcast to get a GameCube, and I don't regret it. It was all for the Biohazard remake, and that is a bona fide masterpiece. Hands down, love that game. And Biohazard 2. Now here I'm just kind of waiting for people to... It was getting pretty packed. But a great little store. You know. What else do we have here? Yeah, and again, guys, this is just a raw feed. Just a reminder, it's a raw feed. It saves me time from having to do any editing. Here we have like this puzzle collection, which I often see. That's not really rare. But yeah, it was getting packed in here. PlayStation 4. This is actually a good place also for like picking up, like current gen games, and then the previous generation, because stuff like that's not going to be too crazy expensive, and really it's just going to be like the retro games that are going to command a lot higher price tag. Look at the price here, 2,500 yen for Dragon's Dogma 2. I should have picked that up, but it's no hurry, it's no rush, it's all good, but I'm definitely going to get it. What else we have? We have some Biohazard 4, the remake. I'm currently playing through that one, but my PS5 is back home, and I'm here in Osaka in the Airbnb. We got Silent Hill 2, the remake. What do y'all think of that? I had a blast playing it. I still love the original more, but the remake is it's a great release. It's a great title. Then we got some Final Fight action. Now let's go ahead and check out the junk. 2,800. Now this one sold. Someone bought it when I was just kind of browsing after I was done filming. Somebody picked it up, and it was having like disc read issues. And then here we have a Famicom disc system, and look at the price on this bad boy, 1,500 yen. Most likely it just needs the belt replaced, but it does have the little protector in there, which is kind of a nice little bonus. But yeah, they had a Neo Geo CD. I was trying to get this stuff out, but you kind of have to pull out the full bin, and then we have the Dreamcast stick. And you saw the Super Bazaar in Kobe, definitely a lot less expensive for that. And there's the Neo Geo CD. But guys, this is pretty much going to be it for the Surugaya in Kyoto. I'm definitely going to have more on the way, a lot more on the way. I've been to so many game stores as of late, so I'll be pumping these out. Anyhow, we'll see you all soon. Ciao.